like you probably got the idea that, as, you know, the Michaels and the killers in the series are often stuntmen, and that's because of the actions they do. And I've been a stuntman for a long time. In fact, some of these independents that Jimmy's talking about, I worked a couple of them with him prior to that, and the coordinator for Halloween 4 was Fred Lerner. And I'd worked a lot with Fred, and he knew me, and I had already done Jason. So when it came time to pick the guy to do Michael, I was about the right size. He talked to me about the kind of things they're going to do, and I said, oh, it's great, I love it. I'd love to do all that stuff. So we just went there and started working. And we went to Utah. I did first part of the movie. They had some problems with the DP, the director had some things that the producer was not real happy with, so they made some big changes. And they changed all the people. They brought in George to replace me and some other people on the crew. So I did half the movie, or not half, up to the point where the girl was impaled by the rifle.
I got the movie credit.
And,
Turn figures on.
Actually, the idea of the way these movies turned into what they are today was not even a thought. Like Jim indicates that he came over to help out a friend of his do a film and worked that night, and a lot of us got jobs that way, didn't really realize what it would work into. And we had no idea eventually what happens with these, and we should do all kinds of things. And one of them would be Halloween. So I didn't have any kind of interview. I did Jason in 5, and that was with Dick Warlock, who had played the Shape. And Dick was the coordinator on the part 5, and brought me in to do an interview for that, where I had to stand up from a grave and walk around and be something scary. And so I guess that, because I did that and some other things, then when Fred got ready to do this one, he just asked me if I could do it. So I didn't do anything, no interviewing. I just went to work. And as they say, the rest is history. I didn't really do any real dangerous. Probably the most dangerous thing for me was driving the tow truck, crashing through the door of the station, and then of course the fireball, all that. It really wasn't that dangerous for me, because all I had to do was keep it going in a straight line, and as long as the wood didn't cover the windshield and I could see where I was going, I'd just go for it, and the effects guys hit the button. I don't have a real story on that. Probably the most dangerous thing I ever did, I suppose a lot of you have seen Chainsaw 2. Anybody see that?
Yeah, sure.
We had a reunion here for that film too.
I had one scene where I was Leatherface for that one moment, and it was probably the most dangerous thing I ever did. We were on a bridge in the scene. Leatherface in the back of a pickup truck, and a Mercedes comes up on the other way, from the other direction, and it's got a convertible. And when Leatherface gets up from the bed of the truck with his chainsaw, he reaches over and starts cutting through the convertible top. And it takes off going forward, and then the truck takes off going backwards. So you have these two vehicles racing over a bridge, and here's Leatherface standing on the edge of the bed of the truck with his chainsaw cutting all through the convertible top. And the way we did that, and we were in a hurry because Bob Elmore had been doing the Leatherface, had worked all day long with that chainsaw. He wasn't feeling good. By the time he'd been doing it all day long, his arms were killing him, and I walked up on the set because I was just arriving, and John Moyo, who was the coordinator, says, "Tom, put on the thing." I says, "Okay, what are we doing?" And, you know, I jumped up in the truck. They says, "Here, we'll hook you up." And they had a harness under my outfit, and they had a cable off my back to the other side of the bed of the truck. And they says, "Okay, now stand up on the edge of the truck." And the only way you can stay there on the edge of the truck is to push off on that cable to keep yourself taut. So you're looking at the ground, and they say action, and the guys have been doing it all day, took off. I wasn't really aware of how fast they were going. And since they had doing it all day, it was starting to get dusk, so they lit the HMIs, all the lights across the bridge to light it up. And by the time they actually rolled the camera and got going and was in a hurry with it, they took off. To me, it was real fast. Hey, I don't know if it was 30 miles an hour or what. But we went across the bridge on this scene, and we're just disappearing out of sight. It's a long shot, not an important shot. And by the time you get to the end of the bridge, HMIs are bright lights, and they do a lot to light a whole scene. But when you get to the end of the light, it turns dark. At the end of the bridge, he gets off, and the approach to the bridge then is completely in dark, and the driver's doing one of these, and suddenly he realizes it's black, he can't see, so he hits the brakes. Because he doesn't know where he's gonna go. And I'm cabled to this bed of the truck with a signal cable to my back, so momentum carries me over the bed of the truck, over the tailgate, into the street with a chainsaw in my hand. I landed in the street, and the driver had enough, intelligence to know that once he's starting to stop, continue. So we all kind of skidded to a halt at the same time, and I laid there under this cape and stuff I was in with a chainsaw in my hand, and I was wearing knee pads and elbow pads because we always get prepared anyway. Even though I was just standing in a truck, I had padded up and everything, so when I hit the ground, I managed to save myself all right, but it was the scariest thing I've done. It wasn't exactly Halloween, but it was really a horror movie. And it's good. We've all done lots of films that were going to be great, and they didn't turn out that way. We've done films we didn't even have any idea what it was going to be like, and it really impresses you. And that's the way we're with these films. And I think most of us who started in them didn't realize what they were. Like Chris, all the way up to his movie, he wasn't really aware of what he was involved in. So it's always kind of a neat feeling to see something that is got a good following, a lot of people that like it. I did Ghostbusters, and when we were doing that one, it was so off the wall that we were sure it was going to be a bomb. There was no way this could be good. It was when they were doing, the CGI, and they're going to have something on that wall floating down. We didn't know what it was, so you shoot at that, and this is stupid. Really bad. Just get the check and go. George was. You know those we had conversations about, oh, is this a turkey? You don't know, but when you see it, it's great. It's a good feeling.
Go ahead, see if I can answer.
Okay. If you could have Michael say one line, what would it be?
Well, I had to think because I hadn't thought that would be one line. You asked this question to other people?
Yep.
Have they given you answers you'd expect?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. I almost think he wouldn't say a word. He'd just say something like, something would be annoyance. More than he would say anything. And I don't know what it would be. It'd just have to be something very scary at the moment. Or he might even just breathe it, almost like a Darth Vader. To me, that would be kind of cool.
Okay.
That might be best. It would depend on what scene is.
If Michael Myers could get turned on by anyone or anything, what do you think it would be?
You like a pretty girl?
Pretty girl, pumpkin, anything. What do you think it would be?
Probably a woman in a jacuzzi.